But there's a Fifth Avenue address on his card, and if he buys the supper, you can bet your life there won't be no pigtail on the waiter what takes the order." As Carter glided away from the biggest store with his mother in his electric runabout, he bit his lip with a dull pain at his heart. He knew that love had come to him for the first time in all the 29 years of his life, and that the object of it should make so readily an appointment with him at a street corner, though it was a step toward his desires, tortured him with misgivings. Carter did not know the shop girl. He did not know that her home is often either a scarcely habitable tiny room or a domicile filled to overflowing with kith and kin. The street corner is her parlor. The park is her drawing room. The avenue is her garden walk. Yet, for the most part, she is as inviolate mistress of herself in them as is my lady inside her tapestried chamber. One evening at dusk, 2 weeks after their first meeting, Carter and Macy strolled arm in arm into a little, dimly lit park. They found a bench, tree-shadowed and secluded, and sat there. For the first time his arm stole gently around her. Her golden bronze head slid restfully against his shoulder. "Gee," sighed Macy thankfully, "why didn't you ever think of that before?" "Macy," said Carter earnestly, "you surely know that I love you. I ask you sincerely to marry me. You know me well enough by this time to have no doubts of me. I want you, and I must have you. I care nothing for the difference in our stations." "What is the difference?" asked Macy curiously. "Well, there isn't any," said Carter quickly, "except in the minds of foolish people. It is in my power to give you a life of luxury. My social position is beyond dispute, and my means are ample." "They all say that," remarked Macy. "It's a kid they all give you. I suppose you really work in a delicatessen or follow the races. I ain't as green as I look." "I can furnish you all the proofs you want," said Carter gently. "And I want you, Macy. I loved you the first day I saw you." "They all do," said Macy with an amused laugh. "To hear 'em talk. If I could meet a man that got stuck on me the third time he'd seen me, I think I'd get mashed on him." "Please don't say such things," pleaded Carter. "Listen to me, dear. Ever since I first looked into your eyes, you have been the only woman in the world for me." "Oh, ain't you the kidder?" smiled Macy. "How many other girls did you ever tell that?" But Carter persisted, and at length he reached the flimsy, fluttering little soul of the shop girl that existed somewhere deep down in her lovely bosom. His words penetrated the heart whose very lightness was its safest armor. She looked up at him with eyes that saw, and a warm glow visited her cool cheeks. Tremblingly, awfully, her moth wings closed, and she seemed about to settle upon the flower of love. Some faint glimmer of life and its possibilities on the other side of her glove counter dawned upon her. Carter felt the change and crowded the opportunity. "Marry me, Macy," he whispered softly, "and we will go away from this ugly city to beautiful ones. We will forget work and business, and life will be one long holiday. I know where I should take you. I have been there often. Just think of a shore where summer is eternal, where the waves are always rippling on the lovely beach, and the people are happy and free as children. We will sail to those shores and remain there as long as you please. In one of those faraway cities there are grand and lovely palaces and towers full of beautiful pictures and statues. The streets of the city are water, and one travels about in—" "I know," said Macy, sitting up suddenly. "Gondolas." "Yes," smiled Carter. "I thought so," said Macy. "And then," continued Carter, "we will travel on and see whatever we wish in the world. After the European cities we will visit India and the ancient cities there, and ride on elephants, and see the wonderful temples of the Hindus and Brahmins, and the Japanese gardens, and the camel trains and chariot races in Persia, and all the queer sights of foreign countries. Don't you think you would like it, Macy?" Macy rose to her feet. "I think we had better be going home," she said coolly. "It's getting late." Carter humored her. He had come to know her varying, thistledown moods, and that it was useless to combat them. But he felt a certain happy triumph. He had held, for a moment, though but by a silken thread, the soul of his wild psyche, and hope was stronger within him. Once she had folded her wings, and her cool hand had closed about his own. At the biggest store the next day, Macy's chum, Lulu, waylaid her in an angle of the counter. "How are you and your swell friend making it?" she asked. "Oh, him," said Macy, patting her side curls. "He ain't in it any more. Say, Lou, what do you think that fellow wanted me to do?" "Go on the stage?" guessed Lulu breathlessly. "Nit. He's too cheap a guy for that. He wanted me to marry him and go down to Coney Island for a wedding tour." End of A Lickpenny Lover. Recording by Michael Robinson, Carbondale, Illinois.